So I turned $57,000 in crypto into 1.87 million. What we did is we actually priced people out aggressively. We're extremely expensive, and we're happy to be, because we're the Harvard of crypto. And that brings only the top of the top quality people. And what happens when you bring top quality people at a high price? They're engaged, they're smart, they put in the effort, they get results. Once you get the results, what happens? You use those customer results everywhere in your marketing. You don't have to market, because your customers bring more customers, and that's it.
What would you say is the perfect price point, especially when you are starting up a startup like this, to charge? Hey guys, and welcome back to Level Up Podcast. This is Paul Alex, and today we have a great interview with the CEO and co-founder of Decentralized Masters. It's a 9-figure global finance company dedicated to making fair and accessible financial services available to everyone, guys. We're going to be talking about crypto, okay? And I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Tan Gera. How are you doing, my man?
Good. Thank you for having me, my friend.
No, absolutely, man. What time is it where you're at right now?
So Dubai, 5 p.m. Sunset coming together. So it's looking nice.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I got a piece of property over there that I'm selling over there at Business Bay, brother. Let me know if you're interested after the podcast.
I'm more of a Palm Jumeirah person, Business Bay. I'll have to see.
Yeah. No, but let's get into it, brother. So for my audience that does not know you, who are you?
So I'm Tan Gera, founder of Decentralized Masters. Basically, I'm an ex-investment banker that saw the light, and then I decided to switch my focus to actually digital assets or crypto, because I recognize that actually it's a great technology. And despite people calling it a scam, it definitely isn't. So, I decided to go my own way, despite having a promising career, let's say. And so far, so good. It actually paid off. And today we're the world's leader in crypto education in the world.
I love that. I love that. I have actually a mentee and a really good friend that is a crypto enthusiast. And he was very excited that I was actually interviewing you, because essentially what you do is what he's trying to do, but here based in the US. So it should be a very good conversation. So when did you first start getting into this niche of, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and exchange the regular 9 to 5 to starting my own startup?
Okay, so basically in the 2017-18 cycle, I tasted what money was, right? I was starting my career in investment banking, but I did really well with crypto. I went to 7 figures, and then I lost it all with the 2018 crash. So all my profits vanished, but at least I tasted what freedom could be, even though it was just numbers. So then I kept on going with my finance career, but then I was like very set in my mindset. I was like, I have to make it. And I know that a 9 to 5, even if, it's the dream investment banking career, it's still a 9 to 5. So it's not going to help me get to where I want to be. So I always had this thing in sight. And then I seized the opportunity when it came, which was COVID. Why? Because in investment banking, you spend your entire day and your night and your evening and everything at the office, right? So you don't have time to do anything else. But the moment COVID came, they sent us home, so I could work from home. Now I don't have all the eyes watching my desk, watching my screen. That's when I actually started with dropshipping.
Wow. So you started leveraging your time as soon as you got that freedom of working from home.
Right away.
Right away. And that's a smart move, man. That's something very similar that I did myself back when I worked in law enforcement. I saw that I was working 80 to 100-hour work weeks. I was like, dude, there has to be a better way to make a living here in America. And I decided to pivot, exact same thing. So you were in that time in your journey of trying to figure it out with different ventures.
Yeah, I mean, my goal has always been, because I tasted what crypto could do. My goal was, how do I increase my active income so that I pour everything into crypto, and I know I'll make it. And so, that's how I did it.
And then Tan, when you say you had a taste, just for my audience to know, what is a taste of freedom to you, brother? What was that taste before the crash that you got to experience before you lost it all?
So I come from a poor background, right? Like
Mhm.
my parents are immigrants, so I'm not born with money. And so when in 2017 I was young, right? I was 22 years old. I had like seven digits on my portfolio. Obviously, I was taking some of that money out. And in New York City, that is very expensive. I was just, enjoying my time there.
Yeah.
So I didn't have time freedom yet, but I tasted what financial freedom was, which was the good life. You can afford to do anything that you want to do. So that's what I tasted. But I realized after that I also wanted time freedom and I also wanted location freedom. There's three types of freedom, right? You have financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. I tasted financial and I was like, okay, I'm very set. I want all three. So that's what
Yeah.
I was able to do later on.
That's awesome, man. And you also did this with did you have like a friend or a mentor that was guiding you through your crypto journey during that time before the crash?
Well, not really. I actually did it on my own, to be honest with you. It's more on the business side where I had a good friend of mine who was, ahead of me. That helped me. On the crypto side, not really, because we were all at the same level. We were all starting because it was so new. So it's not really applicable. Um, Actually, I was ahead because I understood investments thanks to my background, right? Which they didn't necessarily. So I was with techies and like coders and like all these guys trying to make money in crypto because it was very small. And on the business side, though, it's my friend actually who dabbled into e-commerce before I did, and he just cut my learning curve in half. I would say just by telling me, "Hey, don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this." It went quickly. As soon as I was generating like my first like thousands a month, I was pouring everything into my crypto strategy, and yeah, it worked.
Wow, that's amazing, man. And when you go ahead and you say like you were the only one, did you have people around you that you tell or you told them like, hey, I made a little bit of money off crypto. This is amazing. You guys should try doing the same thing. What did they end up telling you?
Most people are super skeptical, you know. Usually that's how it happens. So you have to find that niche group of people who actually think like you,
Mhm.
and there always is one somewhere. Okay. Look, there was a research by Harvard students one day, and I'm going to ask you the question: what do you think is the most decisive factor that determines someone's success? Do you know?
Your environment, man. To me, it's
Zip
environment.
zip code. It's literally zip code, and like zip code is a synonym of environment. It's literally the people you hang out with, and
Mhm.
that determines where you're going to end. So when it came to crypto, I actually was part of some WhatsApp groups and like Telegram groups back in the days of people who thought like me and they wanted to make it in this space, and they were like, "This is great. It's gonna work." And so that just kept me going, even if the rest of the world kept saying, "No, no, no, you can't do it. It's a scam. It's not gonna work." I had this thing. I had this support system, the believers. So it's important to have that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big needle mover for a lot of people, and I think with a lot of people that they go into any type of industry or any new venture, just like you did, right? Having that support system is very crucial because of the belief that you're instilled, right? Did your parents supportive of you investing into crypto in the very beginning, or did you keep it a secret?
I didn't tell them. I come from a
Smart move.
very I come from a very conservative. I'm from Indian descent, right? And so they saw me working my ass off to break into investment banking, to break into Wall Street. It's very very difficult.
Yeah.
Uh, and so once I made it, it was impossible for me to go and tell them, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna, I'm probably gonna quit and go for crypto." They're gonna be like, "What?" Like, or drop shipping. What? What are you saying? But I knew that this was just a launch pad to one day build my own stuff, which is, what eventually happened. But you can't tell them that because they don't have that vision, they don't have that understanding of what you want to do. So that's why you need to find people who do, people who are like you. And there are 100%.
No, absolutely, man. And I'm such a big believer, and I feel like we have that connection now because we have very similar beliefs, brother. And I get goosebumps every time I talk about this because it's so real. And the people that listen to this, they understand this and they feel it, especially when they hear interviews just like this with young guys like you, right? Because you're still in your 20s or you're your early 30s now.
I turned 30 literally a month ago.
Oh man, congratulations, brother. You are in your
Thank you.
prime, dude. They always say for men, right? It's as soon as you enter your 30, that is your prime. That is when you
Yeah.
are established, you know what you want, you know yourself. Now you're like locked in, right? And for you, you sacrificed in the very beginning to get to where you're at right now. So, with that being said, you went ahead, you started drop shipping, and then what ended up happening?
So I poured my initial capital, all the profits that was coming in into crypto to develop my strategy that I had in mind since the previous, crash. So that was going well. And the drop shipping thing was just to test out the product. As soon as I saw that the product was doing well, I actually made it a brand. I bought inventory. I turned it into a real brand. Drop shipping was just the testing phases. So as soon as that became a reality, I started running up this brand, and all the profits kept going into crypto. And then with crypto, that's where I was making a big difference, right? So I turned $57,000 in crypto into 1.87 million. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, with my own strategy, right? Which now we teach to our clients, our 4,000 members. So that was the decisive moment of my life. But when it was happening, I didn't know that this was going to change everything for me. That brand, I eventually sold it, by the way, and then I decided to do what I mean, it just came naturally. It was like, okay, I need to teach people how
Yeah.
to invest their money in crypto and use my strategy because it works. It's battle tested, and so that's what we do.
I love that. The fact that you analyze, you're like, hey, you know what? I need to have a proven concept. I need to go ahead and validate it, which I'm a big believer in, man. I've done 3 different offers in the past 6 years in the online space. And people always ask, like, well, if you have massive success, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. If you have massive success in an industry and you're making a lot of money like you did, dude, why teach it?
Okay, for us, it's different. I feel so. Look, our thing is crypto is such a there's like maybe 10 to 15,000 tokens that get launched every single day, right? For me to keep growing, first of all, I realized that I needed a team. A team comes expensive. Like if I want to have my own research team, I have to pay a payroll. Uh, it's a drag, right? So I was like, first of all, even to recover that cost, I need to bring clients in so that I can share that knowledge of that research team. But that became a thing where they were doing so well, they were loving it. I was like, hey, this is a business, right? And I can teach them my strategy. Now, that research team went on to become the literal one of the top research teams in the world. And so we scaled the business with it because then your brain starts thinking differently and you're like, wait a minute, this can actually become way more than I ever anticipated. Now the real value stands in the community. We have 4,000 people who are like high net worth. It's so valuable. Like one connection, one handshake, one business deal, boom, done. So, uh, those who say, why do you teach it? They don't realize that actually teaching and education, teaching someone how to fish instead of just giving them a fish once, triggers what we call the principle of reciprocity. If they succeed thanks to you, they will love you for the rest of your life and they will buy any other product that you create and they will be your top ambassador and they will be your supporter. And the fulfillment you get from doing that, I get goosebumps every single time one of our customers just writes me on LinkedIn on any of my posts. You just wake up happy, right? Like you're making a difference. So that's why I actually encourage anyone, if you have a skill, go and teach it. You'll see.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So you went from drop shipping, you sold a successful brand, and you reinvested all your earnings back into launching this great platform. And when was that aha moment when you knew this was going to be big? when you started going ahead and actually teaching that community of 4,000 people? You were like, dude, this is going to be what takes me to the moon.
You will not believe it, but actually, the first 6 months of when we launched this were a nightmare, and I lost a lot of money. We poured, you know, mid six figures into this with my co-founder to really do it well. Like, we invested into the platform in our course, like everything. Okay, first employees, etc. Because we had money. Uh, but what ended up happening that we didn't expect is that the entire industry fought back. Basically,
Wow.
Stripe refunded all our customers. We got debanked. So our banks were shutting our accounts. Like, we're like, what's going on, right? Uh, Ad accounts. So Facebook was shutting us down. YouTube was shutting us down. So it was literally impossible to do anything. And the reason why is because, and we learned that way later. You have Mark Anderson, the one of the co-founders of Anderson Horowitz, that went on Joe Rogan's podcast, show, and he explained that actually Biden's administration had decided to shadow ban the crypto industry,
Wow.
meaning there's no official law, there's nothing that has been put out there that is not allowed, but they went to banks and they went to service providers and payment processes and anything that is essential for a business to grow. And they told them, if there's anything linked to the word crypto, you shut it down.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, which is completely illegal, by the way.
Yeah.
But there
I
was
mean,
nothing to fight against. There's no proof. There's nothing you can do. You just get canceled. And so for the first 6 months, they literally, Stripe refunded, I remember, $50,000 to our customers, our first customers. And our customers sent emails to Stripe saying, hey, I don't want to be refunded. I love the service. I don't want the refund. And they're like, no, no, no. So you know what they did? They didn't even refund. They kept the money for 3 months. It was just locked. So thank God we had funds and I had made my money beforehand, because if I was a new entrepreneur, wow, that was tough.
would have wiped you out, man. And it
Yeah,
happens
yeah,
to so many entrepreneurs. I mean, I think it was the same story with me on Stripe. Back in 20 middle of 2023, they locked up about 700K of my funds with one of my ventures. So it's a story that happens to everybody, guys. That if you guys are listening
yeah.
and watching this right now, I mean, what Tan is going through is exactly what I went through with literally thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of other entrepreneurs in the online space went through as well. So that's crazy to hear. That's crazy to hear. So when that happened, what was the next move for you guys, which is very critical at the story?
Well, first of all, we didn't break, and that taught me something that is super important. Is that this guy is gonna be my business partner for the rest of my lifetime, which is very difficult to find, right? So Salim, if
Yes.
you're hearing this, we're together, bro. The thing is, when you start with the hardship and then you start getting some success, because we just fought, right? We opened new accounts and we just found solutions to problems. That's what an entrepreneur needs to do in the first year or so, I would say, is just fix the problems from yesterday. That's it. So just keep fixing, right? Be a problem solver. So we did that, and eventually it clicked. And from after the first 6 months where it was tough, then we scaled from zero to over 3 million a month in the span of 17 months. Every single month was a record breaking month. We just kept scaling because the demand was huge. And we realized everyone wants this. Everyone wants to learn how to take control of their money, right? Have how to manage this, and like how to use liquidity pools, and like how to invest in this world. It's just that it's difficult and they need someone to teach them. And the demand was insane, like really insane. And to this day, I mean, it's been what, 3 years now, and fast forward today, we're like 130 employees in the company. It's wild.
Yeah, 130 employees, man. You guys are changing lives. You guys are getting the fulfillment of helping literally thousands of entrepreneurs out there get educated in this space. With that being said, brother, what would you say what was one of the most pivotal moves to get that type of growth? Like, what type of marketing were you guys doing? Was your organic marketing strong? Was did you guys have good operators on the back end to go ahead and run ads. How did you go ahead and get this massive growth month to month, especially in the very beginning? Because a lot of people that launch an online program or an education program like yours, uh, they find trouble with client acquisition, but it seems like you didn't. So what is the secret behind what you guys did?
The offer. If your offer is good, meaning people want this, it's game over, right? I know a very good friend of mine, maybe people will, with the numbers understand, I will not say the name, but in the AI space, okay? They had a typical SMMA type of growth, offer, helping marketers do better, whatever, agencies. And they were stuck at 500K a month, which is great, by the way, but 500K a month for maybe 2 years. And then suddenly they pivoted the offer to an AI offer, and they went to, in 6 months, to 5 million a month. So number one, just figure out your offer and keep changing and testing and tweaking that. Okay, it's the biggest lift. But then, I told you about the drop shipping thing. Well, drop shipping taught me uh, all those marketing, how to create ads, and then how to run traffic, and like how to do paid ads, how to run Facebook ads. All of these skills are very necessary, because when we launched this company, I was doing the marketing and the sales myself, meaning uh, I was running the ads. With my co-founder, we created a bomb VSL. So we just created that funnel, right? And then when the calls were getting booked, I was taking the sales calls myself initially. You see a lot of people who actually delegate a lot of these things because they think it's not for them, or it's beneath them. It's not. I was already a millionaire, and yet I was taking the sales calls. Why? Because you can't delegate something unless the founder himself walks the path and like understands what the customer wants and tweaks, and like, okay, now I've reached that critical mass where I know this is dialed in and I can delegate it, and I will know if someone is doing well or not, representing the brand, serving the customer, etc. So you have to do these things and learn these skills. You have to.
Yeah, no, absolutely, brother. And I'm such a big believer in that. It's almost like, you're sharing a very similar story of mine. I always say you have to lead by example, right? And
Exactly,
that
yeah.
includes doing the marketing, the sales, the appointment setting. I mean, whatever it is that you're doing in the process to go ahead and bring the revenue, because the biggest three needle movers, guys, for you guys listening right now: client acquisition, sales, and fulfillment, right? It's everything in business. So when it comes down to it, you were going ahead and you were the perfect example of what to do, especially on a startup just like this. So when you went ahead and you started growing, when did you start detaching yourself from doing sales, marketing? When did you get big enough where you were just like, okay, I need to work on the business, not in the business?
Okay, so again, okay, I'll tell you the whole, timeline if you want. So how did it go when we started? And by the way, for those who want to understand how to delegate in what sequence, there's a good book, Buy Back Your Time, from Dan Martell. It tells you which sequence to hire. Like, it's very good. So basically, first thing, admin. Whatever admin that is taking, like, what people call the $10 job, you need to get away from that, right? Because that's just taking up your time in a day. It's too precious, and just going to keep uh, accumulating. So get an assistant, get VAs, get that help. Okay, it's needed. Your time is worth more. Second comes usually sales, but you need to sell first. And my tip is to hire two salespeople at once, never one, because you will never know if the one guy you hire is not closing. You will never know if it's him or the offer. If you have two people and both are not closing, then it's probably a lead quality issue or something. If you hire two people, one is closing, one is not, okay, it was just a person issue. Okay, so small tip here: whenever you hire two salespeople, get two, like setters or closers, get two. Uh, so that's the next thing you do. You close your first 20, 30, 40, 50 customers. As soon as you have a 30% close rate, delegate. Okay, so that's the second thing. Then you become what? The sales manager. That's what I did. I became the sales manager. I was managing my salespeople, just reviewing one call here and there, making sure that they're serving the customer. But in the meanwhile, I could focus on the product, because after sales, you need to make sure, because now you have sales coming in, you have to make sure that your customers, your first customers, are doing well. You build the product around them. Okay, the first version of your product is never going to be. You're never going to know until you get the feedback. So get that feedback and iterate on the product super rapidly. Okay. And then what you do is you just keep scaling. You push as hard as you can to see where it breaks. Don't be shy. Just keep going, push, 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 push on one acquisition channel. All right. Then you will hit a ceiling at some point. For example, if you're doing meta ads, one funnel, 2, 3, 4 closes, and 2, 3 people on the fulfillment side, you will hit a ceiling eventually. Okay, where every dollar you invest is going to be diminishing returns. That's when you need to pause a second and think, okay, you have two options. Either you bring someone in that will help you liquidate your existing ad spend, which could be appointment setters, or do I need to go on a different acquisition method, which is, okay, maybe YouTube ads, maybe TikTok ads, maybe this, maybe that, right? That's your choice as an entrepreneur in your market, in your niche. You need to decide. And then again, you push and you keep scaling, all right? As soon as that is done, now there will be a moment when you're in the $1 million a month mark, okay? Not before. You might need to create a second funnel, third funnel, and become, that kind of a creative person and restart the process. But before the $1 million a month, you don't need to. One funnel is enough.
So one funnel, and especially for anyone that's listening right now, based on your experience, one funnel should be enough to actually get you to that $1 million mark, and you should be
Yeah.
able to push it past that. Once you
Yeah.
do past that $1 million mark, that's when you should deploy a second or third funnel.
Not even, to be honest with you, we didn't deploy a second funnel up until we reached 2.5 mil a month.
And then what was your main client acquisition channel when you first started?
Meta.
Meta.
Facebook ads.
And then were you running like ads directly to book a call, or like a video sales letter, or a webinar, or DM ads? What was it exactly?
Video sales letter for our
Video sales
niche.
letter?
Yeah, there's like, it depends on how educated, on the awareness level of your audience, right? If you're coming up with a new SMMA offer, I mean, everyone knows what it is, right? Or Airbnb or Amazon, people understand that. So you can have a shorter, like, kind of educational piece. For a market like ours, where no one had a clue of what DeFi is, you need more education. And so we had to create longer video sales letters where we actually explain in depth. So it requires more marketing skills, because you go after a more difficult market. Don't think that because it's a blue ocean, it's easy. Actually, you have to create the demand. So it's actually more difficult. But if the offer hits and you're in a blue ocean, then you scale like we did.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's great, great advice. How were you able to create such a demand to get you guys to that 130, $1 million mark, man? I mean, that's remarkable, right? And a lot of people dream of getting to that type of point in their career, especially when they launch an education space. So what was it that you did, as far as, just, was your marketing on point? Was it, you had a really good sales team? What can you say was the determining factor for your business?
Something else. Uh, we chose our market very well, meaning crypto is filled with young people. Okay. But one day we saw a graph that was saying that boomers hold 80% of the world's wealth. 80%. And yet everyone in the crypto market was going after the 20% of the wealth, which is basically people under 40 or even 30 years of age. But they're tech savvy. They can figure things out. They don't need education. They have Twitter. It's enough. They understand how to go in Solana and buy a meme coin, right? But boomers, not necessarily. And the thing is, they're better customers. They want to be educated. They have more time. They have more money. They have experience in the markets. They have patience. They have willingness to build a legacy. They are not looking for get rich quick schemes because they're well established. They're more in capital protection. So When you teach them savvy investment strategies, they're going to listen. They're going to be good customers. And so what we did is we actually priced people out aggressively. We're extremely expensive. And we're happy to be, because we're the Harvard of crypto, right?
I love
And
that.
that brings only the top of the top quality people in. And what happens when you bring top quality people at a high price? Well, they're engaged, they're smart, they put in the effort, they get results. Once you get the results, what happens? You use those customer results everywhere in your marketing, and you just like, you don't have to market, because your customers bring more customers, and that's it. That's it.
That's it. I love that. It's a winning formula for anyone that's listening right now, guys. I mean, get a good product, put it out there, charge your worth, right? And what did you guys go ahead and start, like, as far as a starting point to make it a no brainer to people to invest with you, especially nowadays, because some people, they think charging $5,000 is a lot. They think charging $10,000 is a lot, even though I've seen offers that range, $50,000, $100,000. What would you say is the perfect price point, especially when you are starting up a startup like this, to charge?
If you can charge 15, go for it. Anything under 8, 9, it's going to be difficult.
Hmm. Why is that?
Because of the prices of advertising these days. I think your math is just not going to work out as well. You're going to be cut to cut. You're going to have bad months. We charge 25 for our flagship program. Now, of course, we have lower tiers depending on the support, but our flagship is 25. We have literally a $47 newsletter. We have price points in the 6 to 8K range with less support. We have a middle tier as well in the 16ish. We have a one-on-one at 150,000 to work with me, right? So having all those price tiers is good, but you need to know which one is the one you want to go after, and that only comes after a certain time. Initially, if someone is starting out, if you can try and sell for anywhere between 8 to 10K, and then have a higher tier at 15, I think that's what you should aim for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And are you guys doing any type of like recurring model, as far as
Yeah.
just like after you do like an initial price, 15K, 25K, 150K, and what do you typically go ahead and incentivize your current clients to go ahead and pay that recurring model with you guys?
So it's more of a, do you want to renew your mentorship? Because they have lifetime access to the community and like some of the stuff, they get from the get-go. It's more, do you want to have more one-on-one mentorship? Do you want to renew that? And then do you want extra services? Because we have a lot of services that we can only give them after their first 6 months, because now they're advanced enough to even take advantage of those, right? And so they get very excited because you're always solving the next problem. And so we help them solve the next problem and solve the next problem, because the markets, we're in FinPub, we're in financial markets. So the markets change every day. The markets are open every day. The market trades every day. So there's so much to learn and so much to do, because you want to keep growing your net worth literally every day, right? Uh, as long as in the first 6 months they make an ROI back, which I'm very confident we help them do, of course they're going to stay. It's a no-brainer. So,
Yeah.
like, why would you not? And what we do is we make sure that our customer service, our delivery, and the results are so good that after 6 months, they're going to renew. And the result we get right now is we have around 60% retention rate, which in the industry is wild, right? It's like
Yeah.
unheard of because we just concentrate on that. When you charge a lot of money, you don't have to run after acquisition. You're healthy in your business, right? You don't have to run after shitty customers that you don't want. And so when you have good customers and you have healthy margins, if you focus on them, they're going to renew much better, much better.
it's the path of least resistance because they already know that you're providing good work. They like the customer service. They like you, right? And ultimately, it's easier to retain them than to go ahead and sell someone new, which is, I mean, it makes total sense, man. I know that you're running short on time right now. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and ask you if we're looking for someone who is trying to go ahead and get started their first time in crypto. Let's say there's somebody in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s that's possibly listening to this, and they want to take a deep dive. What would you say would be the first initial steps that you would do to learn crypto in 2025 going into 2026 right now?
Well, you have two options. Either you're short on cash and you want to do it on yourself, completely viable and doable. Uh, we have a free group that you can enter and like get started, all the basics. YouTube is also a great place. You just have to know the right people. They often get very technical if they're good. So we have a free group called the Sovereign Collective that you can find on my LinkedIn page. Where literally it's completely free. I think you really want to do one thing, and people wouldn't believe me, but it's just invest your first grand or so. Because what happens is, as soon as you have invested 1,000 or 2,000, even if you don't know what you're doing, okay, your brain suddenly gets very like involved, and automatically you just start reading and learning and like understanding way more. Okay, that's just natural. One of the good newsletters that I like is Milk Road. It's very good. The free version of it for people who are short on cash. Now, if you don't have time and you're looking for good results, for example, the Fed is cutting rates, liquidity is going to trickle down into the markets, and usually when that happens, risk assets explode. Crypto, by definition, is a risk asset. So we're foreseeing massive growth in the crypto market. Okay. If you don't want to get left out and you do have capital and you want to accelerate your learning and be with the best of the best, then you can work with us, or at least apply to work with us. We have strict qualifications, like I explained, but you can go on descendmasters.com and apply to work with us. My team will walk you through everything. The first call is never trying to sell you, as we said. Like we don't do that. We just want to understand who you are and what problem you're trying to solve. They'll share all the resources with you, and from there you can make an informed decision on whether or not this is a mutual fit.
I love that. I love that. And last question, brother. If you were to go ahead and time travel back to when you were still working your 9 to 5 and you know what you know now, what would you tell your old self to level up at that time, right before you started going ahead and investing into crypto?
So before you invest money, you need money, right? So I would just be focused on growing my active income. I did it with dropshipping, but today you have to break it down further. What actually matters is, how do I drive traffic to a page where I sell something? It's that simple, right? That's what you want to learn how to do. So if I had to advise that to my old self, I would just go and buy whatever course, and there's plenty on digital marketing, online marketing. Just buy that, because it will get you into that rabbit hole and you'll figure it out. So grow your active income if you don't have enough, capital. If you have enough capital, then look into crypto, because you're going to be left out. The dollar is losing value. The fiat system will break. It has to. And so digital assets are going to explode. Just ask yourself one question, okay? I like asking this question. If you believe in AI and you believe that in 5 years from now, there's going to be AI agents transacting for you, doing all these things, right? Do you think they're going to be transacting in US dollars? Or do you think they're
Mm,
going to be using some form of digital currency,
yeah. Yeah,
right?
no, you're absolutely right, man. Something to think about, guys. If you guys are listening to this or watching this right now, this is Tan Gera. He is the CEO and co-founder of Decentralized Masters, a 9-figure global finance company, guys, to help you guys level up with your crypto investments. And Tan, where can my audience go ahead and find you, brother?
So Tan Gera, you can type on Google even. They should, I should pop up, hopefully. LinkedIn, Twitter. I don't use Instagram that much. By the way, I don't really, have a personal brand. I focus on business. I like to stay quiet, and do things that way. I'm active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is good. Um, but yeah, it breaks another myth, right? That you need a personal brand to do well. It's not true.
I love that. I love that. There's so many ways to skin a cat, guys, here in 2025 going into 2026. Tan Gera, once again, CEO and co-founder of Decentralized Masters, a nine-figure global finance company to help you guys level up in crypto. Guys, that wraps up our first interview with Tan. Hopefully we can get you back on the show, guys. Very, very interesting story, brother. Love your mindset and where you are going, brother. I'm pretty sure you are going to make this explode even more to where it's currently at with that. Guys, we are top 3 in business on Apple Podcasts. Make sure to go ahead and leave us 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else where you guys are listening to and watching this. Share this with a friend that's looking to invest into crypto. With that being said, my name is Paul Alex, and this is The Level Up.